Welcome in, everyone, to Spiritual Roots Podcast with me, Misty, where we talk about life, the magical, mundane, and everything in between. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride. I greatly appreciate it. Today's episode, we are going to be talking about Ladybug, our little friend that comes out in the springtime. So spring's arrived, and with that, you may have noticed our small red beetle friend, Ladybug, waking up from their winter slumber. Maybe they have started to congregate around your windowsills as the sunshine has gotten stronger, a welcoming sign that Ladybug can start to emerge. Or you may have begun to notice them around your spring seedlings that are starting to sprout. I always welcome a ladybug. They remind me of being a kid and my mom telling me that they are a sign of good luck and to never harm them. Not that I would, of course, but that they are a beneficial creature and to let them linger and roam around. I'm always in awe when I see a ladybug, especially in the dead of winter, when their bright red wings they just bring a bit of color to the dull of winter, don't they? A bit of hope, if you will. That spring is just around the corner and warmer and brighter days are ahead. Even those little random ones that you find throughout the year, I just find that as like a symbol of, that you have a warm and welcoming home and they just want to hang out with you while winter is happening. I just love that. I just love these little cuties. So today, my friend, let's welcome in Ladybug. There are certain moments in life that feel small, almost too small to matter. A quiet breeze, a flicker of sunlight, a soft landing of something delicate on your skin. And then you look down and there it is, a ladybug. Tiny, bright, unmistakable, small animal allies that bring joy, even if it's just for a moment. Like when you see them on your windowsill out of nowhere, you get that little jolt of happiness. And yet across centuries, cultures, and spiritual traditions, this small creature has carried a weight of meaning far beyond its size. Today, we're traveling into the magical, spiritual, and folkloric world of ladybugs. These gentle little beings that have been long seen as messengers of luck, love, protection, and divine timing. So settle in, my friends. Maybe light a candle, grab a cup of tea, and get cozy if you can. Ladybugs, or ladybirds, as they are known in parts of Europe, are universally regarded as symbols of good fortune, but their meaning runs much deeper than simple luck. Spiritually, ladybugs represent divine protection, transformation, and renewal, joy and lightness of being, love and heart-centered energy, trust in timing and surrender. Ladybugs begin their magical life as eggs. And a fun fact, a single female can lay up to 1,000 to 1,500 eggs in her lifetime. That's a lot of babies, often laying in clusters on the undersides of leaves. So it's always a good thing if you can, if you have a yard, to wait to rake, right? Because sometimes we're disturbing the habitat of our little creatures that are out in our lawns that have been wintering. And then they go to larvae, to pupa, to adult, emerging as the vibrant winged being we recognize. And their lifespan is about 1 year, but some species can live 2 to 3 in the wild. This transformation mirrors our own spiritual journeys. We, too, move through phases where we feel hidden, uncertain, or unformed, only to emerge later into something brighter, lighter, and more aligned with who we truly are. I know I can speak for myself. I align with that at this very moment. When a ladybug appears in your life, it can be a gentle reminder. You are in the process of becoming, and that process is sacred. So take your time. There's no rush, my friends, right? When we're in the middle of a transformation, there's no rush. It's a journey. Ladybugs are perhaps most famously associated with luck. In many traditions, if a ladybug lands on you, it's believed to bring good fortune, especially if you don't brush it away, right? Let them stay, accept that message. Instead, you're meant to let it stay for a moment to receive the blessing. Some beliefs even say the number of spots on a ladybug can indicate the number of months until your wish comes true. If a ladybug flies away, it carries your wishes to the heavens. There's something deeply comforting about this idea, isn't there? That even the smallest creature can act as a bridge between us and something greater. In spiritual terms, ladybugs often appear when you're about to enter a more fortunate phase of our life. You've been worrying too much and need to release control. The universe is nudging you towards trust. They don't just symbolize luck, they symbolize aligned luck, the kind that arrives when you're in flow with your path. Ladybugs have been revered across many cultures, often tied to divine feminine energy and protection. In medieval Europe, farmers prayed to the Virgin Mary to protect their crops from pests. When ladybugs appeared and began eating harmful insects like aphids, which an adult ladybug can eat about 50 to 80 per day, they were seen as an answer to those prayers. This is where the name ladybug originates, short for Our Lady beetle. Their red wings were said to symbolize the Virgin Mary's cloak, and the black spots were believed to represent her joys and sorrows. Killing a ladybug was considered extremely bad luck, as it meant rejecting a divine blessing. In some German and Scandinavian regions, ladybugs were believed to be carriers of children's souls or messengers from the spirit world. If one landed on a child, it was seen as a sign of protection and blessing. In parts of Asia, ladybugs are associated with love and romance. There's a charming belief that if a ladybug lands on you, it will fly off to your true love and whisper your name into their ear. If only it were that easy. It's a reminder that love, like magic, often moves in unseen ways. And not all ladybugs look the same, and their variations carry subtle spiritual meanings. Red ladybugs, the most common and widely recognized. They symbolize passion, life force energy, love, protection. They are strongly connected to the root and heart chakras, grounding you while opening you up to joy and connection. Orange ladybugs. These are associated with creativity, emotional healing, self-expression, and they may appear when you're being called to reconnect to your inner child or creative spirit. Yellow ladybugs, more rare and often linked to mental clarity, fresh beginnings, and new ideas. They can signal a time of inspiration or intellectual growth. The spots of a ladybug themselves are often seen as symbols of seeds of intention, cycles of time, small blessings that add up. And they remind us that life isn't made of one grand moment, but many tiny, meaningful ones. In magical and spiritual practices, ladybugs are associated with gentle but powerful energies. Their magical properties include protection. Ladybugs are seen as natural protectors, especially one of the home and garden. Their presence can symbolize that your space is energetically safe. Manifestation and wishes. Because their connection to luck and divine timing, ladybugs are often used in manifestation work. A simple practice: when you see a ladybug, pause, close your eyes, set a quiet intention or wish, and release it without attachment. This aligns with the ladybug's energy of trust and surrender. Joy and lightness. Ladybugs nudge us not to carry everything so heavily. They bring a sense of playfulness and ease, encouraging you to soften your grip on stress and reconnect with simple joy, just sitting there watching them flying around. I love that, right? It's just a moment of release and presence, and just enjoy their natural beauty and cuteness. Transformation. Their life cycle makes them powerful symbols for personal growth, spiritual awakening, and rebirth. They often appear during periods of change, reminding you that transformation is natural, even when it feels uncomfortable. Spring is a beautiful season of change and aligns perfectly with ladybugs' because they come out of their winter slumber, they emerge with fresh energy and start to become more active and ready for the warmer days ahead. Right? They're just little messengers of hope coming out of the doldrums of winter. If you would like to work with some crystals that are aligned with ladybug energy to deepen your connection with them, carnelian, it boosts confidence and creativity. It enhances joy and vitality, aligns with the vibrant, life-affirming energy of the ladybug. Rose quartz opens the heart to love and compassion, supports emotional healing, and it mirrors the gentle, loving presence of the ladybug. Citrine attracts abundance and prosperity, encourages positivity and optimism, amplifies the luck aspect of ladybug symbolism. And green aventurine, I love this little stone, known as the stone of opportunity, supports growth, luck, and new beginnings, and it's deeply connected to nature and harmony. A very grounding stone. I carried it for the whole month of March in my pocket. I love green aventurine. Red jasper, it grounds your energy, provides stability and protection, and it connects to the earth-centered aspect of ladybug energy. Some herbs and plants that are associated with ladybugs, because ladybugs are deeply tied to the natural world, especially gardens. Their preferred habitat is a garden and other plant life. So working with certain herbs can help you align with their energy. Maybe you grow some of these in your own garden or windowsill. And if you're not, maybe you could start. Chamomile smells so good. Love fresh chamomile. Associated with luck and calm, often used in spells for prosperity, reflects the gentle, soothing nature of ladybug. Basil attracts abundance and protection, enhances positive energy in the home, a powerful ally for manifestation work. And you don't have to work with these herbs just in spell work. You can use them to cook, make teas. You can work them in that way. It's perfect for a kitchen, especially if you have them in your kitchen because maybe there's a lot of light and sunlight in there and you see them a lot there. Perfect way to work with them in both ways. Mint invigorates and refreshes energy, encourages clarity and movement, connects to renewal and fresh starts. Lavender, it promotes peace and emotional balance, supports spiritual connection, aligns with the soft, protective energy of the ladybug. Dandelion, one of my other absolute faves. Love dandelion. Symbol of wishes and resilience, strongly tied to transformation and cycles, and it echoes the wish-granting folklore of ladybugs. So we have some crystals, we have some herbs, but what about some deities that are attached to ladybug energy? This is where things get really beautiful because ladybugs aren't just tied to one specific deity, but they do carry strong associations with divine feminine energy, protection, love, and earth magic. Across cultures, they've been linked to goddesses and spirits who embody those same qualities. We already talked about the Virgin Mary. She's the most well-known association and where the name ladybug actually comes from. The ladybugs become known as lady beetles, a direct link to her protective, nurturing energy. And their spiritual connection is protection, maternal care, divine intervention, and quiet miracles. In Norse mythology, Freya is a goddess of love, fertility, beauty, and magic, especially Sior, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, a form of intuitive feminine magic. Fertility, gardens, growth, and abundance are often symbolically aligned with her energy, and their spiritual connection for love, sensuality, abundance, feminine power, and natural cycles. Aphrodite, the gentle romantic folklore of ladybugs, especially the belief that they carry your name to your future lover, echoes the energy of Aphrodite. Their delicate presence in association with attraction and sweetness tie them to her realm. Her spiritual connection with them is romance, attraction, beauty, heart-centered living. Demeter, because ladybugs are protectors of crops and gardens, they align naturally with Demeter, goddess of harvest, earth, and nourishment. Their role in maintaining balance in nature reflects their nurturing, sustaining power, and their connection to her is growth, harvest, protection of the home, earth-based abundance. Hecate and Persephone, while not traditionally or directly associated, ladybugs can be spiritually linked to Hecate or Persephone through their role as messengers and guides during transition. Their appearance during moments of change mirrors their energy as guardians of thresholds and transformation. So their connections can be tied to transformation, intuition, spiritual guidance, and liminal spaces. In Slavic and folk earth goddesses, in various Slavic traditions, ladybugs are seen as heavenly messengers or even connected to solar and earth goddesses tied to fertility and protection. Sometimes they're believed to carry messages between humans and the divine, especially in matters of love and destiny. So their spiritual connection there is fate, blessings, communication with spirit, and nature magic. And across all of these connections, a pattern emerges. Ladybugs are tied to deities who embody protection, feminine energy, love and fertility, earth wisdom, transformation through gentleness. They aren't loud symbols of power. They're soft, steady reminders that the divine often works in quiet, nurturing ways. If you want to work with these deities, along with the crystals that I mentioned and the herbs, you want to make this a whole ritual. You don't need a formal practice to connect, just intention. Leave a small offering, some flowers or some honey or some herbs in nature. If you go back to my rituals episode, I do talk about outdoor altars. This would be a perfect time of year to start one of those in the spring. Renewal, new beginnings, coming back to life. This is a perfect time to start one of those outdoor altars if this is something that you're interested in. You can light a candle and call in the energy of one of these deities. When you see a ladybug, pause and ask, what message is being delivered to me right now? You might be surprised how often the answer comes. Gently. I do have a simple ladybug-inspired ritual, not just attached with deities and crystals and herbs, but just something simple. You don't need a lot. You can find a quiet moment, either outdoors or near a window. Light a candle. Red or white works beautifully. You can also do all three, red, white, or black, or whatever color ladybug you'd like to work with. Hold a crystal associated with the ladybug or whatever calls to you. Take a few slow breaths and then say softly, or choose your own words, whatever comes to you. Like the ladybug, I trust the path beneath my wings. I welcome joy. I welcome luck. I welcome gentle transformation. What is meant for me finds me with ease. Sit in that energy for a few moments. Just be present. Take in your surroundings. If you're outside, what do you hear? What do you feel? Is there a breeze? Are there birds calling? If you're inside, just feel the energy of your space. And when you're ready, release your intention into the universe. So if you're growing a garden this year and you want to attract some ladybugs, maybe for some luck or some protection, some offerings you could give to them are planting some fragrant herbs like coriander, fennel, and basil, just to name a few. They love these. Provide them with some shelter, such as dry leaves or a bug hotel. I think you can get those at any garden center, really. They're kind of funny looking. They're just made up of tubes. Very interesting. But I think those are cute. Small dishes of fresh water, especially in drier and hotter months. Let's help support our ladybug friends. They help support our garden and eat those nasty aphids. When you have an abundance of ladybugs in your garden, it's a sign it's balanced, vibrant, and naturally protected, and possibly full of a bit of luck, my friends. So I'm going to leave you with this. I found this little advice from a ladybug on Pinterest, and I thought it was just so cute. And this is how I'm going to close our episode today. Advice from a ladybug. Spot new opportunities. Spend time in your garden. Be well-rounded. Enjoy the wonders of nature. Don't let the small things bug you. Keep family close by. Be simply beautiful. That's all I have for you today, my friends. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride about Ladybug. So happy to have you here. Thank you so much. And I hope you all have a great rest of your week and take care. Thanks for coming along for the ride, travelers. If you're enjoying the show, please share, like, or leave a review wherever you listen to your podcast. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram, or come join me over on Patreon, where you'll get show updates and have early access to new episodes every Thursday. You can also find me on Buy Me a Coffee. If you have ideas for the show or would like to say hello, you can email me at spiritualroutespodcast@gmail.com. Please keep sharing the show so we can keep finding our spiritual roots together.